So many men feel like they are showing up in their relationship and making real sacrifices for their partner and for their family, and they still feel so unseen. They don't know how to make their efforts matter to their partner. They don't know how to feel seen and feel like they're being appreciated for what they do in their relationship. So many men spend much of their time trying to provide, trying to sacrifice, trying to prioritize their love, their family, doing what they think is best. And not only does it often fly under the radar, sometimes it ends up activating the woman, the man, the partner that they're with. So in this episode, I want to get under the surface of what tends to be the case when a man comes to me and they express something along these lines. Stay tuned. This is the Reclaiming the Gentleman podcast. I'm Dave Lashansky. So, as men in relationship, we often pride ourselves on having really good intentions. We want to show up as providers and protectors. We want to be a hero. There is this pull inside of us to be a hero, the one who saves the day, right? The knight in shining armor. Really, we want to make things easier for people that we love. We want to bring solutions. And on the surface, it seems like a really noble pursuit. But, as you probably know, if you've been in a relationship for a long time, there's a big difference between intention and impact. They're not the same thing. You might have the very best of intentions in how you show up for your partner, but if your actions are met with resistance or frustration or even resentment, there might be something operating under the surface here. There might be a shadow side to your intentions to show up, to be the good guy, to be the knight in shining armor. Often, without realizing it, we can attach our self-worth to being needed. We can, from that place, start to confuse service with control. Often we'll subconsciously create a situation where we get to be the rescuer because it makes us feel valuable. And if we don't question that, we will always risk eventually suffocating the very person we love. When we want to uplift them, we'll actually be imprisoning them. I'll explain what this means in a little bit. So, how do we first shift from unconscious programming into true partnership? How do we move from the outdated model of the savior to the deeply connected, secure, and sovereign man? I want to tell you a story. So I was raised in a household with two older sisters, and I was raised to treat women as goddesses. Now, that's actually a really beautiful and powerful perspective, and I'm actually proud that I've found a way to still honor that in my relationship. But it took a lot of learning. Most importantly, and this is really key here, if you want to hold your partner as a goddess or a god, if you want to really honor and cherish your partner, if you want to be of highest service to them, to prioritize them, it has to come from a place of equal self-respect and acceptance. If you cannot also hold yourself with this incredible, beautiful honor, it's not going to yield the results you're expecting. That was the case for me when I entered into my partnership. I was convinced that holding all the space in the world and showing her that she was my top priority that I could be soft and gentle and sensitive, that I could be loving to her no matter what she was going through, no matter what she said or did, that was the highest possible service that I could give to her. And unconsciously, the assumption that I was making was that that's what made me a good man. Here came the rub. When I was stressed, when I was struggling, I would shut her out. And this was most intense with the small stuff, right? Like, it's one thing to cry on her shoulder when my grandfather died. It was fair. It felt fine to me. But the day-to-day stuff, the day-to-day stress, the stuff that kept me from really feeling at peace and relaxed and present, right? The things like money problems, issues at work, family drama. I didn't let her into that. I didn't feel safe letting her hold that. I thought I would be sacrificing my good guy status. I thought a knight in shining armor would have to handle the small stuff on his own. That I wouldn't need help was what I convinced myself. And this tiny little story that I had in my head is a symptom of hidden intentions that were affecting the impact of all of my intentions for caring for her. All the ways I thought I was loving her so well was being poisoned by this idea that I had in my head. And that is so important. That's like the main idea of this episode. Because here's the thing, she was not okay with being shut out. It didn't matter what I did for her. I could bend over backwards. I could grab her the moon. But if she couldn't feel me, if she was passing by me on a regular day, sensing there's something wrong with this dude, probably getting flashbacks to any time in her childhood when she was around a man who was unhappy, but who couldn't show it, right? The thing that every man that raised the adults of today were convinced that they had to do. When she would walk by me and feel that energy, that stress inside, but I'd give her an I'm fine. If she couldn't be present for me the way that I was falling over myself, tripping over myself to be present for her, nothing about what I did for her mattered. No matter how well I did, no matter how good I was at showing up and being her man, it just didn't matter if she couldn't return the favor in some way. If she couldn't trust that I was being real about what was happening for me. So if you ever notice that you are trying everything you can to please her, to make her happy, to sacrifice for the relationship, right? Even if it's not even directly about pleasing her, but you know that in the long run, it's about providing for her in some way, her security, her well-being, whatever it is. If you feel like you're doing everything you can to make her happy, and it never seems to be enough, and it never seems to have the impact that you want, and she keeps telling you she wants more from you, this thing, these hidden intentions are probably what's keeping you from feeling and being truly appreciated in your relationship. If you end up being resentful because she never notices your efforts, this might be the effect of your hidden intentions at play. You might be trying to hold your family, your house, your lives together. And what ends up happening is you just piss her off. She might even be cruel to you. You probably feel resentful. She might too. This probably will leave you confused and reeling. You'll probably be thinking, I thought I was being a good guy. I thought I was doing everything that I could. You might be pissed. You might be exhausted. But what's happening outside of your awareness is showing her that you're not safe. This story that you're telling yourself, that your stresses, that your well-being doesn't matter to her, or she shouldn't hold, or you can't share it with her, or it's not safe to, or whatever it is telling her that you are not safe. And the number one thing that a woman wants to feel from you is safety as a man. And yes, I'm talking in a heteronormative way at this point. And most of the clients that I work with, most of the men in my groups are in these heterosexual relationships. So I am going to use this language for this episode and probably a bunch moving forward. But it is not just a man-woman thing. These are masculine-feminine dynamics, right, that transcend gender. But for simplicity, I'm just going to use him and her, okay? I know so many men are in this position of feeling like no matter what they say, no matter what they do, that they can't convince their woman that they're here for her, that they're here to care, to protect, to love, to provide, and to show up for her. Right? Even if you are doing everything you can, everything you think you can, it is so frustrating when she doesn't see it and expresses that she doesn't feel okay. She doesn't feel safe in some way or another. Sometimes this comes out as cruelty, disrespect, resentment, avoidance, anxiety, whatever it might be. If you're getting these signs from her that there's more needed from you, and you're scratching your head as to what that could possibly be, please keep listening. Because we're going to peek behind the curtain of what's actually happening. Because the purpose of this episode is to help you understand what kinds of subtle old programming might be at play here, and what you can actually do to be of highest service, to receive that love that you want from her. How you can really show up to your relationship and experience the bliss of her gratitude for you and what you do. And actually be the partner of her dreams, like you want to be, like she wants you to be. And you don't need money or muscles or genius or humor to show up in this light. So the first step here is to understand a very simple concept. Are you ready? This is the concept that you need to understand to get under this pattern. The highest service that you can offer to your partner as a man is to be aware and connected to what lights you up, and to act confidently and in alignment with your values in pursuit of that thing. I'm going to say it again. The highest service you can offer is to be aware and connected to what lights you up, and act confidently and in alignment with your values in pursuit of that. Whew. That's it. It's actually a very simple principle. And if you can learn to embody this, if you can identify exactly what it is that fills you up, that lights you up, that gives you fuel to pursue life with a hunger, with a thirst for more, you'll be doing the most important service a man can offer in relationship. You are honoring her sovereignty and yours. Now, this doesn't mean you can't be of service in other ways. Of course you can. But this, knowing what you want and going after it, knowing what keeps the spark in you ablaze and tending to that fire, has to be priority number one. It can't be sacrificed. It can't be forgotten. You can't take a break from it. Breaks can be a part of it, but they have to be in pursuit of this bigger purpose. And that's what's so key here. This thing that makes you feel alive. And if you're here and you're thinking that caring for her or caring for your family is the thing that lights you up, I just know this. When you discover something outside of your relationship and your family that puts a fire in your belly and that gives you energy, right? Like literally a fusion generator happening inside of you that you cannot put out. That's going to make your time together infinitely more satisfying. I promise. There is nothing more magnetic than someone who is connected to their purpose. Isn't that just the most beautiful gift you can give to someone? And here's why this is important, okay? If you're sitting there like, I don't even know what that would be for me, I get it. And I'm going to offer some ways to help you at the end of this episode, but I need you to understand first why this concept is so important. When you're connected to the work, the places, the people, the whatever it is that makes you feel most alive and present and fired up, that fills your cup when you're suffering or brings you joy and a sense of meaning to your life, it shows her the bigger picture about who you are, the kind of man you are. And most importantly, it lets her actually choose you. If you're sitting there trying to convince yourself that you've done that, but you still feel resentful for all the work you put in, you're still not being seen and received in the fullness of your offerings to your relationship, I believe that 9 men out of 10 that are feeling these ways are trying to overperform so that she can't not choose you. I'm going to say that once more. It's really important here. If you're stuck feeling like she doesn't see you, like you're doing everything you can and she is rejecting it or just getting mad if you try to bring it up, try to get some recognition, either you need to reconsider if you've outgrown this relationship, or, and I truly believe that most men are here because this is way scarier, you're doing everything you can to make sure she can't not choose you. Is that you? Are you trying to make it so that she can't not choose you? What's the opposite of that? The opposite of making sure that she can't not choose you is letting her choose, honoring her sovereignty, which requires all of you. It requires you to be real, to be authentic, to be all of you without trying to convince her that you are something that you're not. Obviously, it doesn't mean being a little boy because you have a little boy in you, but it means not pretending that it doesn't exist. It means taking care of it as a man so that it doesn't leak out sideways. Carl Jung talks about how the shadow will find a way to leak out sideways if it is not addressed. That is exactly what happens to the little boy in us when we don't choose to take care of it, when we pretend that it's not part of us, when we try to show up without him. Every time you try to show up with a brave smile on, even though you're totally empty and you never expressed to her where that emptiness came from, you never dip into the well of love in the relationship yourself, and no, sex does not count. You're hiding. Your intention is to protect her from having to take care of you, or to know you, or to have to show up for you. But really, you're putting her into a cage that she will rail against. And I've seen it time and time again with couples. I've done it in my own relationship. And when I awoke to what I was doing, to the fact that I was trying to make her choose me, but trying to convince her that those things about myself that I didn't like weren't part of that, it was brutal. I remember feeling completely blindsided when I finally understood what I was doing. That I was trying to hide when I told myself I was trying to protect her. When I saw that I was manipulating her so she'd never have to actually know me, or the parts of me that I didn't know very well or wasn't comfortable with. That way of showing up in relationship is old school. It's an old value system, and we are actively changing that. That is the community I'm building here. So, if you're seeing yourself in this pattern, what the heck do you do? And if you don't have a sense of what that meaning-giving stuff is in your life, then double, what do you do? Okay, it starts with uncovering the parts inside of you that hold these stories about what she'll say if she sees you with the flaws and weaknesses you're trying to hide. We all have them. So what happens when you think about this, when you imagine yourself looking at her as she's watching you in your brokenness, in your awkwardness. Not really for any good or logical reason. You're just in it. You're just being you. What happens inside? What memories get activated? What reactions happen before you can even be with that image in your head? That's the work, man. Learn about yourself. Learn about where those parts that show up to tell you you're not good enough, to criticize you, to try to hide those parts of you. Learn about them. Build a relationship with them. It's not that she even has to see you in your complete and total vulnerability. Don't start there. Please don't start there. The work is for you to see and accept in yourself those parts of you. Can you make peace with the truth of your wholeness, light and dark, known and unknown? When she wants to show up, right? When she wants a loving man in her life, when she wants you to show up, she has to accept that he is a human being. And what makes him exceptional isn't that he's free of flaws, but that he is flawed and still pursues what matters anyway. That he contains broken parts and tends to them lovingly. That he knows who he is and goes after what he wants. You cannot escape what is not perfect about yourself. None of us can. And none of us should. Usually, actually, these flaws, these imperfections about us become some of the most beautiful and amazing parts of us. This is a place where you might find some of those inclinations around purpose and meaning too. What is imperfect about us will be with us. But if you spend all your energy hiding that, hiding it from her or ignoring it yourself, you're going to be missing out on probably the most crucial energy, right? That last bit of energy that you're going to need to pursue and receive what actually matters most to you. And by the way, that's how you draw her in. If you're with a woman who, when the storm rolls in, can get like really cutting, this is why she does it. She's trying to cut you open. She's trying to find you. She's trying to unveil this part of you that she knows is there, and she's at her wit's end trying to release it. If this is you, stop pretending that you're bulletproof. You're not. Let her know it hurts, right? If you have a woman who is cutting away at your flesh in these moments of stress, in these moments of telling you it's not enough and she can't find you, where are you? Don't pretend like her words don't hurt, right? There's a trailhead there. Be in your tenderness that shows up. Be real. Otherwise, you're not really choosing her either. It's simple math. Wield your power and your energy wisely. It is the difference between being chosen and being unseen in your relationship. Her giving herself fully and wholly to you and spending your relationship with someone with a barrier blocking that intimate, juicy, exciting stuff. No one wants to be unseen but with someone when it's possible to be chosen. That's literally what I'm here for. So, to those of you who are hearing this and lighting up, finally feeling seen in the struggles that you're having in your partnership, welcome, brother. I'm so happy to have you here. I am building a conscious community of men who are dedicated to showing up in their vibrance, in their brilliance, and attracting the loving partners of their dreams. I'm building a community of men who are committed to showing up with presence and clarity that cuts even through the densest of fogs that all men have been in and understand what it's like to feel lost in that fogginess, that drift, that sense of uncertainty, that creep of unease. We all experience that fog. And men that are connected to what makes them light up, right? This thing that makes you so magnetic and vibrant. You are uniquely capable of navigating out of the fog when you understand what that is for you. And community is one of the most potent tools we can use to reach that point, to reach that level of understanding. So check the show notes for how you can actually join a community like this. One of my highest missions in life is to help men create more of this and to create them myself. But some of you still might be wondering about that whole discovering the stuff that really lights you up, right? The stuff you really want, the stuff you're truly here to do. So many men show up to men's groups and they say, I don't know what I want. I feel like at some point, probably in my preteens or my early life, I was cut off from learning that about myself, from how to navigate those waters. And I promise you, if this is you, you are not alone. And here's the thing, I actually have one simple tool that the men that introduced me to men's work, the first men I sat in circle with, shared this tool with me when I first started. And it comes from Bill Plotkin's work. And it's about determining purpose in the simplest of terms. And it's a question. Instead of asking yourself, what is my purpose? Ask instead, what is the earth asking of me? When we make the question service-oriented about the planet and our communities and the fellow life forms around us, it will open you up to receiving a deeper and more meaningful message and connection to whatever it is that's going to give you that meaning. It's going to give you that powerful fuel. This is why I don't really talk about purpose a whole lot. I really talk about what enlivens your soul, what fuels your life and keeps you moving. That's what makes you unstoppable. Even if sometimes you do feel completely lost or broken, that's part of the path. What's required of us in growth is understanding the long view, growing into the uncertainty in life, and still embracing a level of certainty around what we need and what we want, and pursuing it in the face of both the certainty and the uncertainty. So how would you hear this message from the earth, right? What is the earth asking of me? How would you even hear what the earth is asking? That's for another episode. We will get into it though, I promise. Thank you for listening. If you have any thoughts or stories about what was talked about on this episode, please write me. I would love to connect with you if the show is serving you in any way. And if that is the case, please also share this podcast with your friends and family and colleagues. And here's why I make this request of you. There are too many men suffering in relationships, suffering outside of relationships. And these men are turning to people who are leading them down paths of hate and disconnection. It does not need to be that way. And it cannot be that way if we are choosing to evolve and make the world a better place. We just can't do that. So please help me get the word out so that we can together create communities and movements of men that can readily access their most deeply powerful and loving and connected nature. So we can create communities of men that do not alienate one another, that do not villainize women or people of other genders. We all need more of that kind of loving connection and community. And that's what I'd like to build with you. So please do share this podcast with people in your life who you love and care about, who might get something powerful out of it. Until next time, be well.